Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher in the foreground, Sam in the back. Our 100th episode's on Wednesday. It's going to be a show that's packed. Boom, and we'd like to welcome in the sponsor for the first 15 minutes, and that is Single Source Insurance. Welcome to the Wake.Show. Happy Monday. Hope everything's going well for everybody. And make sure you comment and play along. Lauren, good morning. Mary, Sean, good morning. And welcome. My guest today is Joey. Well, I've got two Joeys to welcome today. Joey number one is going to be Joey from the Wake.Pumps, because today is... Hi guys, it's Joey. Today is my favorite holiday. It's National Adopt a Shelter Pet Day. And let's see here if I can do this. Yes. I want to make sure I make it big enough for everybody to see. Some dogs are not lucky enough to have families. I know that because I was one of those dogs before I met my parents. Oh, P-A-W-R-E-N-T-S. There we go. I lived at Pet Pal Animal Shelter. Luckily, the people there are so nice, but not all shelters are like that. I got really lucky and met my family on September 26, 2015. Wow, this is a long post, Joey. Where is he? Oh, he's over on the couch.
He's tired from writing it.
Yeah. You can make a dog just like me feel just as lucky. If you were thinking of adding a new member to your pack, check your local shelters. Your new pack member may already be there. If you live near me, check out some of these shelters.
That's a great post, Joey. That's a great post.
Joey, that really is the best post you've made so far. That was all of them been solid. And I'm not trying to say that Roxy hasn't had her fair share of great posts, but that was a great post, Joey. And we'll have to bring him up a little bit. But I also, before we move on, speaking of the Wake.Pups, if you'd like to follow along. Good morning, Robert. If you'd like to follow along, Roxy and Joey now have their own Instagram. There's half of me that's embarrassed and ashamed to even share this with you. I can't believe, if you would ask me this like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if I'd be doing a show where I'm going, hey, listen, if you'd like to follow my dogs, then by all means, they have their own Instagram. I would have told you to go F yourself. I would have said, I will never do anything like that. That is just ridiculous. Now, fast forward, you're 45 years old, beaten down a little bit, and these kind of things make you happy. Good morning, cousin. Maybe it's just me, but the live video isn't working. All right, well, it looks like it's working at our end, so it might just be you this morning, Maribel. Hopefully it'll catch back up here in a second. Good morning, Max and Nikki. Hello, Nikki. So let's go through some of the pictures of the weekend, because this is what we did all weekend long, Sam. We painted all weekend long. Me and Roxy.
Wow, Roxy did such a good job.
She is amazing. Yeah, she's a great painter. So here you go. So you can still see you see the yellow in the background, and you see the blue in the bathroom there. See, to me, that's blue. That's baby blue. And my wife was trying to tell me that what I was calling bright gray had a lot of blue in it was a blue. Mm-hmm. I was trying to say, no, this is blue. Okay, that's blue in the background. You see the yellow there. This is Roxy in picture number one here.
She's doing great.
She is awesome. And then I want to make sure. How do you do this? Oh, right here. All right, there we go.
Oh, that's my favorite picture.
I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to do this. Here we go. So there we go. There's Roxy.
She's doing so good.
All right.
Breathing in a lot of paint fumes, though, probably.
She was under our feet the whole time.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, there she is.
I like the wall in the background, color swatches.
You see the swatches there? That's some of the stuff it's no longer there. I'll have to pull up a picture or two.
Oh, wow, look at her.
Like I said, underneath.
You're so sleepy.
Yeah, under our feet the entire time. There she is, another part of the house.
What sleeping. A sleepy girl.
Yeah. And
where was Joey?
Joey, and I think that's the last one. Joey stayed away. He was outside most of the time. He kept running back. He was like a child. He kept running back up and try to get us to go outside and go play. And we're like, we just can't play today.
Can you show the other picture, the one that I love so much?
This one right here?
One. It's so funny. That's so funny.
This is the one where Joey's outside and Roxy's just cleaning up the food on the inside, which is
a great photo.
Yeah, that is very much the story of their lives. All right. We just got a text from Chris McCarty.
Yeah. I love it. Right. What is that? Oh, I know what he's saying.
Well, we started doing.
I love it.
We started doing trivia every week, which I really like. It's a lot of fun. But at the same time, I think that instead of doing trivia every week, maybe we do like a Chris versus Chris. It's our first names.
Yeah.
And so it's like a competition where maybe round 1 is trivia, round 2 is some kind of a physical challenge, which he'll destroy me every single time, and round 3 maybe like an or I was thinking also that physical challenge, that second round is not necessarily always just like something physical, pull-ups, push-ups, something like that. But maybe even you get in a sponsor and you're racing some drones or racing some cars or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Anyway, just come up with a bunch of competitions and do something every week. Chris versus Chris. James, good morning. I see Roxy, and good morning. Non-toxic paint, no fumes, puppy friendly. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm sure that they covered that one. All right, I don't know how non-toxic that was.
Yeah.
But that was the Wake.Pups on Instagram. Before we get into the meat of the show today, let's talk a little bit about On This Day. We'll go over some of the events from On This Day in history, and that helps us put things in perspective. So when you're looking at the news of the day, you try not to get too worked up, thinking, oh, this is going to be the end of the world.
Oh, my God.
It'll likely what?
Oh, no, I was looking at the top story. I'm sorry.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, that's the way to start off a show. I'm sure there's conspiracy around this too.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, put things in perspective. You realize that whatever is making you think, oh no, the world's coming to an end, likely these events will just be footnotes in history on this day. And at the top of the list today, coming from history.com, is Adolf Hitler commits suicide. Have you ever seen or read any of the things where he's still alive, or he stayed alive up into the 60s or something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
no, it's
whatever. Yeah.
On this day in 1945, holed up in a bunker under his headquarters in Berlin, Adolf Hitler commits suicide by swallowing a cyanide capsule and shooting himself. That's one way to do it, I guess. Well, that's two ways to do it.
Double. What?
Maybe you want to make sure that he wasn't living through that one. Yeah. I just ate some cyanide, but it's not kicking in quick enough. Where's my pistol? Let's see here. German unconditionally surrendered to the Allied forces, ending Hitler's dream of a 1,000-year Reich. Since at least 1943, it was becoming increasingly clear that Germany would fold under the pressure of the Allied forces. In February of that year, all right, that's enough of that.
That's crazy.
On this day in what was it? 1945.
Last year of the war, yeah.
All right, add that to your to your brain for trivia nights. That's a good one. I might have to add that one to the questions too. That's a good
First presidential inauguration in 1789.
All right, the first presidential inauguration. Who was it? Do you think? Do you want to take a guess?
First inauguration?
Yeah.
I mean, am I being stupid? It's not George Washington, obviously, if that's not passed. I don't know.
I guess that's too late to be George Washington.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I thought I was being a smartass.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at the date, and I'm like, I don't know if that's still him.
No, you're right.
It could be. I don't know. Well, let's click on it.
Let's click on it to find out. The first presidential inauguration. Yeah, I was being a smartass thinking it was going to be George Washington.
It is.
Oh,
okay.
It is. Okay, good.
So he still was. I don't think term limits were in there at that point.
All right, well, that still be a good trivia question. What year was the first presidential inauguration? In February of 1789, all 69 presidential electors unanimously chose. Man, did you know it was that late?
No.
I figured we had, George Washington was in there doing his thing by like 1770.
I thought that was at least Jefferson by then, but there's no term limits, I guess, at that point.
This is another reason why we like to do this, because it just shows us how little we know about history, be it our own history, world history, anything in between. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Liz. Franco, thanks for swinging by. I don't know if you're swinging by, you're sticking around. If it was just registered because you looked at it for 5 seconds because you thought you saw a lump on my nose and it caught your interest. I don't know. All right. So 1789. Now we know that one. The original Land Rover debuts on this day in 1948.
Yeah.
The first federal prison for women opens.
I saw that, yeah.
All right, for women. So let's guess what state would this be in, do you think?
I don't know. Texas.
Ooh, good one. I'm going to go with New York.
Yeah, that was my second guess. It's New York, yeah. Oh, no. Wait, that's the inauguration again.
The same thing popped up. Where'd it go?
First federal prison. Oh, it has the same title. It's under crime.
Under crime.
Yeah. towards the top.
Go on the exact. There we go. Let's see if it'll bring it up.
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Huh. Look at that. Man, there's a lot of good trivia questions today. I need to add these all to my... Oh, by the way, I've decided how we're going to do the quote of the day once you leave. Oh, I forgot about that, Sam. This is your last 5 days.
It is.
I'm sad. How we're going to do the quote of the day. I taped 4 hours of soundscapes on channel 442.
Yeah.
And because like they put up a quote and it lasts like a minute or 30 seconds and they put up another one. So I just recorded 4 hours and I started going through them like, oh man, in 10 minutes I had like a month's worth of quotes.
Okay.
I don't know if I should give them credit for where I got them. I mean, but they're other people's quotes. So, I mean.
I guess, yeah. That's one way to do it. Or you could just put up the quote that I gave you every day.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one.
We'll always have that layered in there,
just in case.
Well, so when if Chris and I are talking about you and we just miss you or something, we'll just throw this up and a little unicorn and a do your best. We'll get it done. We'll remind you of us. Or wait, us of you forever.
Excellent.
All right. Oh, the coming out episode of Ellen.
I saw that.
On this day in 1990, the coming out episode of Ellen. I doesn't ring a bell.
She came out on her show probably in 1997.
Yeah, well, obviously. On this day in 1997, a widely publicized TV character, Ellen, okay, so this wasn't the show that she's doing now. This is back when she did a television show.
The sitcom show, yeah.
Yeah, called Ellen. All right, now so she is gay. Now that's starting to sound a little bit more familiar. She's born in 1958. These friends of mine in 1994 soon emerged. In the fall of 96, word leaked out that the character of Ellen Morgan, a bookstore manager, might acknowledge that she was a lesbian, making Ellen the first primetime sitcom to feature a gay leading character. Over the next 6 months, ABC relentlessly encouraged the hype with DeGeneres herself, fueling the fire by joking in television interviews that her character was Lebanese and resisting attempts to clarify her own sexuality. A week before the episode aired, DeGeneres made a well-publicized coming out of her own, appearing on the cover of Time magazine under the headline, "Yep, I'm gay." I guess because it was just, it shocked nobody. Because this all now seemed, is familiar. But I think because nobody was really surprised by it at all, it wasn't one of those things that really stuck out of my head. All right, what else? New York's World Fair. Louisiana Purchase concluded on this day in 1803. Willie Nelson is born on this date, 1933. Holy crap. He's getting up there. George Washington gives a first presidential inaugural address.
That's all I saw.
We got them all.
Yep.
All right, what is your quote of the day?
Listen.
Hey, that's what I do when I come in. See, before the show,
right.
Sam comes in and goes, what are we talking about?
This is a bad quote of the day.
When Sam comes in the morning, she's like, what are we talking about today? I'm like, hold on. Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
These 5 things.
Second. The one that I normally pull up is not a good one today.
All right, can I?
Okay, I have one.
All right, go ahead.
What great thing would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? All right.
Nice thought starter.
Interesting.
All right. I'm going to give you a quote of the day then.
Go ahead.
Do the same thing. Here we go. The most inspiring quotes from Albert Einstein. Can we just do a couple of these?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Damn it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Hold on. I know there's some smart ones in here. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world.
True.
Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. I don't even know what that means. Can you translate that for me?
I think it means you don't have to, you don't have to wholeheartedly listen to the authoritative figures, and you should question authority.
Ah, okay. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. I am by heritage a Jew, by citizenship a Swiss, and by makeup a human being, and only a human being without any special attachment to any state or national entity whatsoever. You know, one of the interesting things about Einstein, even though it was his theories that led to the atom bomb, essentially, and him writing the president to go forth with that, he was a man of peace. Because of the way that he viewed the universe, it just did not make sense to him. If you saw the universe like Einstein saw the universe, war would never, fighting your fellow man would not make any sense whatsoever. So, all right. Thank you so much, Sam.
Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to bring up. All right. We got our 100th episode
Thank you,
coming up.
Single Source Insurance, by the way.
And thank you, Single Source Insurance, for being the sponsor of the first 15 minutes of the Wake.Show.
Yes. So our 100th episode is on Wednesday. We're going live at 11:30, correct?
Brought to you by DATS.
Brought to you by DATS.
We're going live at 11:30. We've decided not to go put an end time on it.
It's going to be a packed show. There's going to be a lot of things going on. Single source insurance is coming back. DATS is going to be there. We're going to have Chris McCarty. We're going to have a bunch of different people coming through.
Yeah. All right. Food. You know, that's the most important thing.
Food.
Guess who else is going to be here?
Who?
Lauren Fisher.
Really?
Yes.
Ah.
You'll finally get a chance to
meet.
the
dogs, right?
And the dogs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were thinking, I was talking to Lauren, we were talking over the weekend, she's like, I wonder if, you have this little area, we just set them up and they just sit there,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm like, well, our dogs are not going to just, Joey might sit there if you tell him, but Roxy will get a little antsy after a bit and try to get in your lap.
That's great. I'm glad she's coming.
All right, so I'm also going to make an Evite today or something that looks like it. I was just going to make something in Canva.
Yeah, make it in Canva.
And then just send it personally to those people that are always here, even though they're not all here today. Like Nikki Cooper will be getting one. Elliot will be getting one. I know Robert Cords is not giving me any of, like official numbers and how many people we can invite. But I just figure, it's a big building. We can invite a lot of people, right?
Yeah, we're going to put guests on the couch in the corner.
Right.
Guests as in like people that we're bringing in from like DATS and the people who are sponsoring. But
Johnny
as
Torres.
far as, is he coming?
He hasn't confirmed yet.
Okay,
but
we should probably send another text. Is your friend coming? The musician.
Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew.
He hasn't. Well, that would be a video call. He wouldn't be in town for that. But I haven't heard back from him, so I'm going to email his people and see if we can make that happen. I was also thinking, because I don't know how technically, if you guys don't mind us talking about the show, in front of you, stuff that you don't care about for right now, the technical aspect of everything. I don't know how easy it's going to be into pipes, to pipe somebody in.
It's pretty easy.
Saying?
Pretty easy.
To go back and forth.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to talk to somebody.
We're doing this is going to be a production type of thing, as far as I understand. We're going to have cameras, and we're going to
and a switcher, and
we're going to,
I won't have to push any buttons or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I think Cords is planning on having it be a little bit higher production value.
What are you trying to say?
No, than what we have right here, downstairs in the studio.
I'm trying to say that we know what you got together here. But by the way, there's a decent amount of production value to
for sure.
To what we got going on.
But
here.
rather than we're not going to have 25 people in here like we might on Wednesday.
Right. All right. So very excited about Wednesday's show. That's going to start promptly at 11:30. Chris McCarty will obviously be there and do a performance as well.
Are you bringing your food truck?
Joey's busy.
Man.
Yeah, we're going to bring in Joey here in a second, and from Mother Trucking. Now that I'm starving, from Mother Trucking Good Food, and
that sounds good.
He's going to be my co-host. We'll talk about some of the issues of the day.
Cool.
All right, Sam. Anything else before I let you go?
That's it.
All right. Bye, Sam.
Bye.
Bye. And we will continue now here.
I don't know. I'm hungry talking about it.
Yeah, I brought in some frozen stuff today.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, frozen stuff.
Yum.
Hold on. It's one of those it's man something. Hold on a second. Oh, Hungry Man. I know, man. But they were on sale. They were like BOGO, and it's the times we live in. Flip it over and read it. All right. Well, I guess this will be a good time to bring you in, Joey. Go ahead and hop in that seat. Yeah, I'm curious. We'll go over some of the news of the day, but at the same time, I want to get to know you as well a little bit. I want to know, you got an interesting background, military background. You're one of those guys that are trying to make it in the food truck world now, too. And so let's read the back of this. Let's read the back of this damn thing. I don't think I probably really want to.
I don't think so either. Read that sodium level.
Right. As I've just, I come back from the doctor and up my, by the way, how can you hear fine in that? Do you want the volumes up, down a little bit? You know, you're fine. Perfect. The great thing about that microphone, just right into the top of it there, and you should be just fine.
Okay.
All right. So let's go over this. Let's go over the sodium here. Let's see. Total fat. So this is per serving then, which is a total package. So here we go. 11 grams of fat. That's not horrible, right? It's not horrible, this thing. 11 grams of fat. Granted, this is turkey, stuffing, vegetables, and whatever. So 11 grams of fat, which is, 17%. I guess that's not great. 17% of my daily intake, but not horrible. Cholesterol, 35 milligrams is 12%. Sodium, here we go. Holy shit. Jesus.
High blood pressure after one hungry man.
That's, I just upped my blood pressure too. I just went to the doctor last week and we doubled my blood pressure medicine.
Have fun.
And this is.
I have to take double.
Yeah, I'm going to have to double my double. 1,310 milligrams of sodium, which is 55% of your daily intake. So 55% of my sodium intake is going to come in this one meal. And then some, 61 grams of carbohydrates.
How many calories?
Sugar, 22, protein, 16, calories, 410 calories. So,
So an average diet of a male human being, it's like 1,500 to 2,000 calories?
Well, no, for you and I, it's more in the 2,500 range, isn't it? 2,000, 2,500?
I'm not active. I don't go to the gym.
All right, so for an active male, than that. So, yeah, that's my meal after the show today. Sorry, well, once I got the text that you were like, hey, man, I ran out of food this week and I'm not bringing anything in, then, I was like, well, I'm going to have to bring in my hungry man.
You didn't say hungry man.
If you knew I was bringing in a hungry man, you would have said, all right, I'm at least bringing one sandwich for you.
I mean, I had food until Sunday, and I was at Calusa Brewery in Sarasota, and I just got murdered. So,
well, Jesse says sodium's sneaky in those things. You're right.
It is.
And I've reached
injected.
I've reached a time in my life where I need to watch this stuff. Let me see if this will work. I'm trying to work on some different shots here. All right, that's better. Well, I like that one better. All right, so enough of that stuff. Welcome in, Joey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for stopping by the show. And Joey is somebody I've gotten to know over the last few months. I'm going to just start doing a bit officially because Chris and I have a tendency to meet people, like when we're out doing our things, and we go, oh, wow, that person's interesting. I'd love to have him on the show in one capacity. But, what? You're interesting. You're an interesting dude.
I'm definitely interesting.
Mike Kelta. How you doing, man? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by the Creep Cam. So I think we're gonna, instead of just randomly having our people that we meet out in public and bring them in on the show, and we're gonna turn into a bit, whatever the Wake.Show dragged in, or I don't know, something the fish dragged in, or something like that. So this is what I dragged in today. Joey, an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And Mike Calta, that is awesome to see you on here. And of course, it makes me nervous, too. As soon as I see Mike Calta, I'm like, oh, my blood pressure goes up even more.
It's like eating two hungry mans.
So Joey is one of those people that I meet out, and I'm like, man, this guy is an interesting dude. I got to get him on the show one way or another. So Mondays, when Chris McCarty doesn't come in, I don't have someone to bounce stories off of. So I thought I'd start filling these Mondays with people to, trap them and get them to come into the show and, talk about what's going on in the world.
Sounds good.
All right, Joey.
Sounds great.
So let's get a little background on Joey before we move forward. You are the sole proprietor of Mother Truckin' Good Food.
I am. It's actually Mother Truckin' Good, not food, but
okay, sorry.
We do gourmet street eats, and we have a catering business also out of a food truck.
All right, and you're hustling how many days a week?
Now that it's summer, I'm trying to do less, only because it's so hot. Usually in season 5-6 days a week.
In season 5-6 days a week.
And it's usually.
And what is your specialty? Because a lot of times when you're coming out to Masteries, when I see you, I know you do multiple things, but you you lean heavy on the tacos.
We do. I mean, they're San Diego street tacos, so they're a little different than what you see at like Taco Bell or I don't know other restaurants that have tacos, but. Our little kicker is, we take corn tortilla and we put cheese on the outside and melt it right into the shell. So it gives you a little crunch, a little extra flavor. But I mean,
I love it.
We change our menu every week. We
And
try
I can taste the mojo in there too.
Oh yeah, we do a cumin bell orange pork carnitas, and we also do a cilantro lime chicken.
I can't take this. We're gonna have to end the show early today. I can't do this. I'm too hungry. I'm gonna have to go get into my 1,300 milligrams of sodium before
get sick.
I know. All right. So before we get into some of the news today, I just want to get a little background. You're also military. Tell me about your military
Yes,
background.
I was a Marine from 1993 to 1997. After I got out of the military, I pursued my cooking career. I mean, I started cooking at a very young age. I'm a Johnson & Wales graduate. And
Is that the one out of Miami?
That is the school I went to was out of Miami because I wanted to learn the Caribbean flair, a little bit more South America. If you go up to say Providence, you're going to learn New England style and stuff like that. But
were you when you were in the military? Was that what you were doing? Were you cooking?
No, I didn't cook. They used to throw at me all the time, but I was a communication radio operator.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, so you were in a C-130?
No, I was mostly on land.
Okay.
I was usually with an air wing unit, which was vacation for us, but I was with H&S Battalion Comm Company out of Lejeune most of the time, and I just traveled. Anytime they needed to volunteer, I'd raise my hand just to get off the base.
Oh, right on.
So yeah.
All right, so you did your 4 years, and then you were out. You said, "Screw that, I'm done."
I didn't want to say screw that. I had a job opportunity with Lucent Technologies at the time, and I kind of left the military, went to pursue that. Didn't really get the job, so I went back to culinary school, and the rest is history. I mean, 23 years later, and I'm still doing what I love.
All right. Well, I've got some questions for you when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because in recent years, now that I see Mike Calted stop by, in recent years, I have not, radio spit me out, and I'm not doing a great job of getting back in it. So I'm trying to figure out this thing on my own. And I think that we live in such an incredible time, right?
Yes.
Not just an incredible country like America, where you can set your sights on something and go, and really go after it.
Right.
But at the same time, because of technology and the world being connected the way it is, how quickly you network, and then tap into those networks to help you get accomplished what you need to get accomplished.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like there's got to be a way to figure it out for those people like us and Chris McCarty. So radio, media people like Chris McCarty, singer-songwriters. I feel like there's a way to be able to, make a decent living out here. So obviously when I run into people like you who are hustling themselves, I like the stories. I want to hear about the beginnings, the tribulations, what you learned along the way, going back to start over again. If I had it to do over again, the pitfalls I would have avoided along the way, stuff like that. So let's go back. When you got into, you started cooking, you learned, you went to school. I would imagine you had to go work for somebody else for a little while first.
I did. I mean, I did an externship down in the Florida Keys. I've always had cooking in my background before I went to culinary school, because I was hitting a point in my career where I was just hitting a sous chef, and I wanted to move up the reins to an executive chef, but my GMO said that you need that piece of paper, a degree. So I went to school later in life. I think I was 25, 26 years old when I went to school. Only did a 2-year program. I'm still paying my school loans, which is great. 43 years old later,
Holy crap! 20 years later.
Oh yeah, and I trust me, I just tapped into one of them, and it's ugly, but it's well worth my education. I've done a lot of things. I've worked from sushi to classic French, Italian. I even taught culinary school up in Detroit for about 3.5, 4 years. And it was nice because I got to give it back to students, just to give them what I've loved so much. I can share it. And I still talk to my students today. That's, 10 years later.
How did you get into the food truck industry? Did you own any restaurants beforehand? Run any restaurants?
I was always like the executive chef of a restaurant.
Okay.
And then, when we moved down here about 8 to 10 years ago, I don't even know how long ago, but I was telling my wife, I'm like, babe, I'm going to open up a restaurant. She's like, no, you're not. I went to work for a couple people, couldn't handle, being told how to do things. So I went in business for myself. I was up in northern Florida, southern Florida, everywhere, just looking for a food truck to build. and come across one in Orlando, and I bought it. I mean, I wish I would have done a little bit more homework. I mean, they're expensive, so
I would imagine
it was tough because sometimes when you buy a truck, even if you get it inspected, you don't know how long the engine's going to last. Mine was a 1992 Grumman step truck, and I blew my engine last May. It was like $17,000. It's a diesel Cummins engine. How to get it rebuilt?
Now, does insurance cover that?
No, I called and tried.
So you have to. So that's $17,000. So in that moment, do you go, well, that's $17,000? You know, that's 5,000 tacos I have to sell now.
Oh, it was more than that. I mean, with labor and everything else included. Plus, I had downtime for 3 months. So I'm like trying to pick up like catering gigs if I come to your house and cook just to make money. But
Okay.
I think the hardest part was when I got the bill, and I'm like, I don't have 17 grand to pay for this. So I would call like my Discover card. I mean, Chase. I mean, you named it. Thank God Discover up my credit limit.
So that's where you ended up going?
Oh yeah, I paid it with a credit card.
Because when you first got your truck, did you have somebody come in with you, an investor or anything like that?
No, my father was my investor. I put a business plan together. We were going to go I guess partnership with it. But he lives in Ohio, so it's kind of hard to be a partner.
Right.
I mean, I pay my loan off. I pay my loan every month, you know, and from there it's just, for me, it was a single man business. I mean, I had a couple guys that worked on my truck, never worked out. But really where I want to lead to this, because you're married, right? I am.
You're married and you have kids, or a kid?
I have one, a 12-year-old boy.
A 12-year-old, because I would imagine every time you go to your wife and say, all right, honey, screw the restaurant business, I want to buy a truck. That's probably
hard.
That's probably not an easy conversation to have.
No, it wasn't, because there's no guarantee. I mean, I do all my own networking. I prep all the food, cook, clean. I mean, I do everything, and it's hard work. I mean,
and you're doing everything I would imagine, partly to save every dime you can.
Oh yeah,
right,
definitely.
How supportive? I'm not trying to start anything in your house, but along the way, how I don't say support, because in the end, even when they're riding your ass, talking about wives, they are infinitely supportive in other ways, but can get to some points where they're frustrated and things aren't moving quick enough, or you come to them and go, hey, I need $17,000. In those moments, is that when she's like, hey, you need to go back and work for somebody?
Well, no, at that point, I'll never forget. When it was about $17,000 fixed. She's like, you need to burn that truck to the ground or sell it. And I'm like, no, I've put a whole year into it. I built that brand. I mean, people enjoy seeing that truck. I mean, it looks like a circus on wheels, to be honest. I mean,
it does. It's a great looking truck.
It's funny because people are like, well, what does your truck look like? And I'm like, I mean, you can't miss it. But it's been hard. I mean, I always giggle at people going, hey, you know what? I cooked for my parents, and they said it was great food. I'm going to open a food truck. I'm like, good luck to you. Yeah. That's all I can say. Good luck.
Well, here you go. Here's a shot of it. There you are.
Yeah. That was at Coppertail. Actually, that was probably the date that I blew my engine.
Really?
I blew it at Coppertail Brewery, and I had to get it towed all the way back, and it was like $500 tow bill. It was... I about cried that day.
I would imagine. So how did that conversation go that day when you went to your wife and said, hey, hon, and by the way, did you put that conversation off a few days?
No, right off the bat, I mean, she knows my intentions, and she knows I'm a hard worker, and I always, I always work for the family and try to take care of my wife and my son. It was a hard conversation because she wanted me to just screw the idea, go work for somebody else, and I'm like, that's not me.
That's what I figure. So in that moment, when she's weighing that out, because you're getting an estimate, I would imagine, of 17 grand.
Well, I have a great mechanic. His name is Tom's Automotive. It's in Cortez, Florida, and he's the best mechanic I've ever met. I mean, he's not only my mechanic, he's like a good friend. So, just all around great guy. And he looked at me and he was like, I was always like, hey, how long is it going to be? And he's like, 3, 4. I'm like, 3, 4 what, weeks? And he's like, no, months. And I'm like, oh my God. But because they had to take the engine out, send it to Illinois to Jasper. Jasper rebuilt it. Then it was shipped back, put it in, and it was a scary moment because nothing's guaranteed anymore.
No.
I think I have like a 2-year guarantee, and I'm like, I told my mechanic the other day, I'm like, I'm going to blow my engine again just so I get a newer engine. So,
but Joey, like Nikki says here, it's cool to see he didn't give up his dream.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, we're getting busier and busier right now. I mean, I try to like lean off on the summer times because it's hot. I don't have air conditioning in my truck. I do, but it just goes out the hood. I don't feel it. It gets about 140 degrees in that truck.
Jeez.
I call it the sweat lodge. But I lose all my winter weight in the truck. But
all right, well, can I come work for you for a summer?
Sure, why not? If you can handle it, go for it.
Well, I'm just going to be sitting in there and sweating. No, actually, I just follow. How about this? How about we do a mobile podcast?
We can do that.
Get my little area where it's 140 degrees, so I'm just sweating profusely the hotel.
Oh, we can treat you like Teen Wolf. We can strap you to the roof, and you can do a podcast that way.
Even better.
That'd be awesome.
Even better. All right, man. Well, let's see here. One last, as far as your business and stuff like that.
Sure.
During that 3 months, so I'm asking these questions too because as somebody who's an entrepreneur now, or trying to get there, trying to get to that next level. Just because I got a LLC doesn't make me an entrepreneur, I don't think.
No, it does. It does.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lynn says this is an inspiration to hear for small local startup businesses in the area.
Thank you.
So that's one of the reasons why I brought you in too, not just to be an inspiration to me, but also for those people, because like I said, going back, we live in a very special time, and for some of you, you're doing great. You've got a great gig at a small business or a great gig at a big business or whatever. But for a lot of people, we're entering times where industries are falling by the wayside. What you thought you were going to be able to do for your entire life isn't working out. And there's a lot of different ways for you to tap into the world now and use the power of capitalism and entrepreneurial ship. Well, I think I pretty much made up a word.
That's okay.
And put things together, make things happen for yourself. So there'll be more and more people like will be rolling through the show like Joey.
Well, I think the best thing, if you're gonna do it on your own, just do it. I mean, don't give up on your dreams. You got good times, and you definitely have bad times in the food truck business. I mean, there's times where I'll go out, work 18 hours, only make like $600-700, and I'm just like, oh my god!
I don't know how it is you can afford to feed me every single Thursday because I put down a few tacos.
Well, listen, I only use you so you plug me to all the customers so they come eat.
What? I'm being used?
You are being used.
Oh,
it's great. It's perfect.
It's okay.
You're the best advertisement in the world.
I don't mind being used as long as I get tacos out of the deal. I work cheap. I'm easy.
Well, you've had a couple of my burgers, haven't you?
Yes, and that was was it the Hawaiian?
That was the Maui Joe. It's got lettuce, tomato, onion burger,
spam,
grilled spam, pineapple, and teriyaki glaze.
It was amazing.
That's
okay,
good. That's a good one.
Now I know you heard me say spam. You're like, what?
Spam is delicious.
What? Let him read off the ingredients again. Go ahead.
Lettuce, tomato, onion, hamburger, pineapple, grilled spam, and teriyaki glaze. Oh, it was delicious.
All right.
Well, the other one is the one's better that I have on the menu now. It's called the Memphis Goober. It sounds weird, but it's probably my highest selling burger I've ever had on my menu in 2.5 years.
Really?
And it's just a regular hamburger bun, grilled, so it's kind of got that crust, or toasted, peanut butter on the bottom, burger, and then I make a jalapeno pimento cheese and I spread it on top and melt it right into the burger.
Okay, well,
it'll change your life.
The next time you're doing a burger night, and I'm going after that one.
Soon I will be.
So, all right, let's talk about a couple of things going on in the news today. Thank you for stopping by. Now that you get to know Joey a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully it inspires you for those of you that are ever thinking about starting businesses on your own, just trying things. Man, get your LLC under you. Cost you, if you're going to do it yourself, you can probably do it for about $150. You want to get your accountant to do it, he'll probably want $150 on top of that.
Get a good accountant.
Yes. And when it comes to your experiences so far in the small business world, a lot of people think that when you go into business by yourself, you're doing everything yourself, and in a sense you are. But if you don't have a certain amount of support, either by a business partner or a spouse at home or somebody, it's not easy to do.
Well, it's always rule of three. You always have to have a great accountant, a good mechanic, and then a great attorney.
All right.
Once you have those, you can do it.
Okay, so if you're going into business by yourself, it's not with yourself.
No.
I think in three. He goes, it's you. Plus, make sure you have a good attorney, a good mechanic, and what was the other one?
Good CPA or accountant.
A good accountant. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
And then you're off and running.
You're good.
Then you're off and running. Can you marry all of those?
I don't know. That's an answer I don't want to answer.
All right. Well, let's get to first of all, how do you stand on guns? You're ex-military, but you were Did you even carry a weapon when you were?
Well, we carried. It was standard issue. We used to carry M16s. So it's standard.
I actually, also Steve Corbin here. I forget, sometimes what I need to do is a list of like all the people that are here a lot, our regulars. Put a list of them and what they do, because I forgot. Steve Corbin, this is exactly, he says, this is why I do business. Man, as someone who works with small businesses that I have a hard time getting financing, this guy right here is why I do it.
Thank you.
To hear him make it through is awesome.
Thanks.
And it's true. That's what he and his wife do. He goes, we what's your saying? What's your slug, Steve? When the banks stop financing, that's where we begin, or something like that.
Hide your money.
Yeah.
Hide cash.
when the banks won't touch you, come to us. We'll touch you. No, I don't think that's their saying. I don't think that's their slug. Okay, so now let's talk about some serious issues.
Sure.
You ready? Some gun stuff.
Am I carrying right now? No.
Okay, that answers my first question.
I don't carry with me.
You don't carry with you?
No.
So you have your CWP?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then, this is going to be an interesting... Actually, I knew this already. This is one of the reasons why I had you in. When the bank says no, we say yes. There we go. When the bank says no, we say yes.
I'll have to give you a call. I need some... I need another truck.
Ready for another one?
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to put them in different cities. I want to start franchising.
All right. Have you looked into that already?
I have, but it's so much paperwork, so difficult. I'm not.
Well, from what I understand too, those who would be backing your franchise, they don't want to even talk to you until you've got 3 up and running.
Exactly.
And you've got 3 running, got a smooth operation with 3 stores or 3 trucks or something like that. All right, come talk to us. And
I think I want to go across the state, open another truck, and then maybe put one down in like the Miami area.
Listen, you got a great looking truck. Like I pulled up, it stands out. But what is your hook?
I love it, man. I do anything from sushi to Lebanese food. Everything in between.
Do you think when you finally go looking for backing for franchise, you're going to say pick a lane?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're going to go screw you.
Yep. Pretty much. Blare my air horn at you.
All right. Well, Steve right here is saying let's do it. I work with the local Dole Whip truck now.
Cool, man.
He's ready.
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Well, here I'll plug. If anybody is watching the show, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or you can call me at 941-773-4871. That's my cell. I always answer it.
All right, the Wake.Show. Let's talk about guns in schools. And we're talking about guns in schools now. All right?
Sounds good. I like it.
Florida now requires schools to have armed protection. Despite $400 million attached to the state's response to the Parkland shooting, districts are having to get creative to stretch the dollars or come up with their own. And this is obviously in the aftermath, people trying to come up with answers. And there's people out there going, all right, we got to get all assault weapons and anything that looks like an assault weapon off the street. And then you've got those going, all right, fair or not fair. Not everybody's saying fair. But they go, okay, there's one thing. Well, also we do still have an issue, and we've got a Second Amendment, so you're not getting rid of all guns.
No.
So let's go ahead and make sure that we have very capable armed security at every single school.
Well, here's the fix. There's so many veterans that are retired or they're out of the military from honorable discharge or whatnot. They will stand guard, probably for free, to protect our kids. I know I would. My son goes to school, and if they ever called me up, I'd be like, psh, I'll be there. I'll do this shift from this shift and be relieved and do it for free. I would love it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would rather have a military guy because we're all trained, probably better than cops, but
hey, now watch it.
No, nothing against police officers. They're all good. I support blue. So,
well, yeah, you guys obviously have a certain degree of training. But I guess one of the first things I think of is the mental health issues that we're having with veterans these days too.
Well,
and on one hand,
I mean, when are the hospital, when is the state, when's the VA going to step in and give these veterans help that they need? And instead, they're on the streets and they're talking to themselves. And I mean, it's sad.
It is. It
sad.
Really is. Nikki says mass shootings happen in gun-free zones.
Yep.
Armed resource
Everywhere.
officers are a part of the solution. Hire veteran! ! I one of the issues I wish we had focused on a little bit more, and I know we're getting there slowly but surely, is the mental health aspect of all of this, and not just for veterans, but these mass shootings and what's going on in these kids' heads, from the kids that are taking their own lives to the ones that internalize it and take their own lives, to the ones that try to blow up the outside world and take it out on society before killing themselves.
There's a lot of crazies out there. I mean, let's not joke ourselves here. But I mean, I think they do need stricter laws about giving a firearm to either like a rifle to an 18-year-old or even a handgun to a 21-year-old. I think they should move the 21 to 25 and then do the rifle to 21.
One of the big arguments that come back from that is so a kid could go to war. He's 18 years old.
True.
He's overseas somewhere, and he comes back home, and he can't even have the rifle that he,
Well, you can, because you usually get out of the military at 21.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, if he was on leave
or
at
22
or something. But Nikki also says every school also needs a metal detector at every door. The way you stop a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun.
I mean, that is the perfect idea. If you would ask every parent at every school, hey, give me $10, they can afford a metal detector. I mean, I went to high school in a couple areas. I was born in New York, raised in South Jersey. We had a metal detector in our high school. So, I mean... Well,
that's part of what this article is about today, too. It has to do with the funding and financing, because schools are already stretched thin. And they've been cutting corners for years.
I mean, $10
per
parent.
But that's what this is going to turn into. It's going to turn into a private thing. So if you go to a private school, you're going to have
not even private,
Green Berets.
Public. Oh, yeah, Green Berets.
You're going to have Green Berets and the best of the best. And then when you're at the worst of the schools in America, you're not going to have shit.
Green Berets would be so camouflaged you couldn't see them by a locker. They come from the ceilings.
They dress up as a locker.
Let me give you a pat down.
Hey, kid, I can see you.
I know where you sleep. Anyway,
so on the you're a carrier. Is there any ground to be given for those who are looking to have more regulations of guns, and be it taking certain kind of weapons off the street, or I guess that's what you said. You do see upping the age. Qualification on a few things.
Certain weapons I can see. I mean, I don't want to be walking down the street and there's an AK-47 or an Uzi or whatever. I don't want to see that. But I mean...
But those aren't illegal anyway, right? Automatic and semi-automatic...
Well, everybody misjudges like the AR-15. Okay, it's the same thing as like a Ruger 22. It's a rifle, but it looks cool. And it's supposed to be enticing because it looks like an M16,
right?
But it's not.
But I guess those people on the anti-gun side or
lefts.
All right, we'll call it the left. Is those things are just too enticing to
They're
those
enticing. They are.
with mental issues, and we've got to do something. So they want to say if it looks like that, there's no reason to have something like that because it looks cool. Hey, it looks like an M16.
It does. It's geared towards like the 21-year-old. I mean, I'm 43 years old. I don't care what it looks like, honestly, as long as it just does the job that I'm looking for, like target shooting or hunting or whatnot. But when it's all said and done, a gun is a gun. I mean, I could say I have an AR-15. I could put it here on the wall. It's not going to fire unless I pull the trigger.
All right, so that's going back to guns don't kill people, people kill people.
And they don't. I mean, I have a pistol. It's never walked off and shot somebody.
No, but we have to understand that argument is it's on shaky ground, because you can easily take that out to the point where, how easy do you want to make it for people to kill in mass?
Well, I mean, you can kill a lot of mass. Canada last week. A van killed.
You're right.
Like,
Oh no, there's a lot of it. You're right. And that's why I keep going. If we want to keep my
box cutters on 9/11. I mean,
right? No, you're right. Banning guns is definitely not going to solve all the issues of the world. Understanding.
I think it breaks down. We need mental health.
Yep.
For crazies.
And that's why I let my crazy breathe a little bit on the show, just to let people know in case shit ever goes south.
Exactly.
By the way, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not, but I am. Nikki, they need to include a mental health diagnosis linked to a background check. I'm talking severe depression, manic bipolar, schizo, etc. On one hand, people want that, but in the next breath, they scream HIPAA violation. But that's true too.
It'll never happen because you cannot. I mean, HIPAA. I mean, my wife's a nurse. She can't talk about anything.
Right. And even so, like if I go in and unless it's the court has put me through the process because I've already done something. And a psychiatrist has deemed me schizophrenic, man, whatever the hell, boom, there you go. Sorry, you're not having a gun. Then it's just not going to happen because it's not like you're going to have people just go volunteering and go, somebody who really wants their guns, right? And somebody else is going, hey, that guy's bipolar. He shouldn't have guns. He just gets set off like that. And you can't, that guy almost has to agree to the diagnosis,
but how are they gonna find out if you're nutso?
Right.
Are they gonna put on your driver's license? Hey, put a little mark up there. Schizophrenic.
And
bipolar. I mean, here you go, officer. Here's my ID. Oh, great, you're bipolar. This could be fun.
Right. Let's see here. Nikki says, I'm a nurse too. By the way, she goes, you'll never get rid of all the guns. It's not a solution. It'll never happen. Sharon, if you stop manufacturing guns sooner or later, there won't be guns. So she's one of those that thinks that, well, if you got rid of all the guns, you would take care of a lot of this.
Well, let me tell you. I mean, there are ways of making your own gun where you don't have to go through a manufacturer.
Nikki says this is a touchy subject. AR doesn't stand for assault rifle. I can assault. I love when the people watching get into their own arguments with each other.
I love it. It's funny. It's great. I love it.
She goes, that is so untrue about stopping a bad guy with the gun. Statistics shows rarely happens in school. All right, so that thought there is... when you throw out the only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, she's throwing out the statistics that it's very rare that the good guy with the gun just happens to be in the right place at the right time and have things all go as planned.
Right.
I mean,
that's lucky.
Well, one of the stories or moments that I bring up when people do bring up that argument, because it's not as simple as a good guy with a gun is going to stop a bad guy with a gun. And so we go back to that Dallas shooting, that mass shooting was, I guess it's been 2-3 years now. And this was right around the time of Pulse.
Yeah.
So was a peaceful protest, parade, or protest the entire way, and then the guy waited till the very end, and as they funneled into this area, he started picking off police officers.
Right.
Well, there were
crazy.
people in that march legally carrying, and one guy with a rifle legally carrying.
It's Texas.
Right? It's Texas.
Well,
the first thing that happens when that shit goes down is law enforcement is telling every one of those people that has a gun showing, get on the ground and kick your gun away, because they don't know who's the good guy or who's the good guy, the bad guy, good guy. So it's not as simple as a good guy with a gun is going to beat a bad guy with a gun.
So you just scatter.
Right. So Sean says, what up, buddy? Oh my gosh, and Nikki, I build my own guns.
See?
Holy smoke.
I'm telling you, I mean, you can find anything. I mean, if you take away all the guns, the bad guys are still going to have guns. They're not going to be like, hey, police officer, here's my gun. Will you take it from me?
Right.
It's not going to happen.
All right. Well, now here in Florida, it is now law for Florida schools to have armed protection. Well, now they're going to have to pay for it. They're going to have to figure out ways to pay for it. Next up, would you? I'm not talking about right now. Okay, we'll throw out a hypothetical right now. Hold on. ARs account for less than 3% of the shootings. That is true fact. Yep. I respect everyone's opinions, even if I don't agree. But get your facts straight. FB isn't a credible source. LOL. Oh, so this is Nikki and Sharon going back and forth. If we had the technology now, the AI, to give you barring a meteorite, you getting hit by a school bus, we could let you know within 1 year.
What was it, 3 to 12 months?
All right, well, that's
90% accurate.
Right. Would you want to know? Let me just throw it out there. Would you want to know your death if, you were gonna die of cancer at 76 years old? Would you want to know that?
See, that's hard. I mean, I think we talked about it earlier. I mean, yes, because within that 1 year time frame, I probably throw the biggest party in the world. But knowing it's only 90% accurate, knowing my luck, it would be like, oh, well, you're the 10% that actually you're going to live to 85. So now I'm poor.
All right, so this is going to the actual reality of the details of this story, because the reality is right now we cannot predict about when you are going to die. There's just too many variables, I guess.
Yeah,
However, as you get to end of life, you're terminal, or things are, it's a matter of time. Sometimes they tell you have weeks or you have months, and you don't really know. Well, they've now jammed enough data, hundreds of thousands of medical records. Long story short, they can predict with 90% accuracy that end of life stuff, whether it's going to be 3 months or 12 months, basically. So you're at the end of life. Then you know the writings on the wall. You just don't know when. Like, for instance, when my father succumbed to cancer in 2012. Well, first he rang the bell, which meant he was cancer free. Then within a matter of weeks, it was back and with a vengeance. And so they gave us that 3 month thing. But after that diagnosis of 3 months, or whatever that word is there, prognosis, whatever, you have 3 months left. I think he lasted 3 weeks or something like that.
See, that's
so. But if they would have had this AI, they could have plugged all the stuff in there and said, "Oh, you likely have just a few weeks left. You better get on things." So, would you want to know?
No.
Would you want to know? By the way, the discussion on this message board is still about guns.
So you opened up a can of worms right there,
Yep.
buddy.
If you know that it's going to happen, you just don't know how long. But they say, "Hey, we can let you know if it's. Would you want to know?" Or you're like, "Nah, let me just go and party, and when it happens, it happens."
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
I'd want to know.
I don't know if I would want to know.
Because
I mean, what if you did like an AI test say today, and they're like, "Oh, you only have like 4 hours to live."
like right now,
right now. You're like, "Oh, guess what? The show's canceled. Goodbye."
I'd still want to know.
I wouldn't want
because that would give me a chance to, like, 4 hours from now, the tests come back and, well,
then you're stuck in traffic for 3.5.
We have your test results in front of you, and your death will happen in 3, 2, 1, and there you go.
That'd be awful. I don't know. I don't know. I like technology. I do, but I think we're just moving a little bit too fast for. I mean, God, think about it. 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones.
But think of what you can do now. Think about with technology. You have a food truck right now.
I get it.
But you've got those little squares you can use, all the little technologies for people to be able to pay you.
Yeah, it's fun. I guess. Well, certain things. I mean, some of it's just a little bit too much.
I'm still using an old school grill. I'm still using an old school spatula.
I mean, I use propane to cook with. Why can't I use like a Magic Chef, put a burger in, it's like cooked medium in like 30 seconds. That'd be cool, but it's not.
From Facebook, I would want to know, I feel like I would do things differently.
See, I live every day different. I never plan for the future, nothing. I just live my life and try to be a good person. That's it.
Yeah, so, look where you got it. Look where I got you. You're sitting here with me on a Monday afternoon.
That's okay. It's cool. I mean, I dropped my kid off to school this morning. I thought I was going to take 2 hours to get here because, I live in, where do I live? Palmetto, Bradenton, Sarasota area. So, I mean, it's not bad.
All right. And how old were you when you started your first venture? Is this your first venture, by the way?
No, I mean, I've always been in the business.
But as far as you're the owner and you're the one calling the shots.
Yeah. I mean, I've been executive chef where, I kind of ran my kitchen how I wanted to. I would tell the GM or the owner, please stay out of the kitchen. I'm running the show. But, this is my money.
Right. Because that's the big
effort.
difference. Yeah.
And it does. But we're doing very well. So it's,
And how old are you? How old were you when you made this leap?
40.
So you're 40 years old, and how long had you and your wife been together at the time?
Well, we've been married for 13 and a half years. So
congratulations.
Thank you. But she knows what I want in life, and I'm very hard-nosed and very hard-headed.
She rich? Does she make enough money for you to go live your dreams?
No. I wish. They don't pay nurses crap in this state. No, I mean, but I've always been the type of person that no matter, say I work for somebody, I can get fired that day, and then 3 hours later I have another job. Right. I mean, I always bounce back. My mom always say that I'm like a cat. I always land on my feet somewhere. So, I mean, with this jump was pretty big, but I don't regret any of it. You know, I mean, maybe the people that have worked in my truck before, but, you know, I usually have either my wife will work the truck, but for a while she didn't because she said I would yell at her. But I'm like, listen, don't change the menu. Just stick to the menu.
So she worked for the truck.
Yeah, but I'm nicer now. I mean, there's days where I get grumpy, you know, like when somebody orders like a Cuban sandwich and they're like, I don't want pickles on it. I'm like, dude,
well, then it's not a Cuban sandwich.
It's not a Cuban sandwich. I'm like, go somewhere else. Go to Burger King or something.
You're like the Cuban sandwich Nazi.
Well, yeah. Well, here's a funny. I don't know if you remember Seinfeld episode, the Soup Nazi.
Yeah.
So I was at J-Dub's Brewery in Sarasota, and I did the Soup Nazi menu. I mean, I did mulligatawny, crab bisque. I did all of his soups, and I even dressed like the Soup Nazi. I had a mustache.
That's awesome.
Had a neckerchief. We would play along. I would have the brewer come out, and I'm like, I would even get bread. I didn't get bread. I'm like, no soup for you. Next. But I mean, we have fun, and you got to have fun in what you do. I mean, that's why it's always fun to change out the menu. Because I don't for me personally, I know if you do something really, really well, but you have the menu like that every single week, people aren't going to come to you. I like it because I change my menu every week. And people are always like, oh, I wonder what Joe's going to do this week. Or they always text me, can I see a menu? And I'm like, no, you can just show up and see what I have.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to you yelling at your wife when she's in the truck. No, because I know that in the heat of things, I've been the host of a show all of my life. And it's only been in recent years that I was able to kind of see the way that in some instances I acted, But, when you're in the heat and the thick and you got all this whole thing, it's not necessarily a yelling. I think some people can. It's more just you're being curt. Like, I need this now, and this just the look in your face looks like you're yelling at somebody, but you're really not. Or were you really yelling? Maybe twice, I really yelled at her. But okay.
I mean, I treat her I'm not the best guy in the world to work for. I'm hard on myself because I try to be a perfectionist, especially when I cook. Because I want everything to come out perfect and have. So the customer takes one bite and they just stare at you and they go, oh, yeah. Yes. But, not every scenario is like that. I mean, there's times where, you have to understand, I usually take orders. I'm your cashier and I'm your cook. So it's a one-man truck. So when I see a line and it's 50, 60 people deep and I'm just starting to panic a little bit, but I keep it under control. You get your food when you get it. but it's usually, our average ticket times, it matters what it is. If I'm doing burgers, but if I'm doing tacos, it's 2.5 minutes, you'll have your order. But burgers, I can't cook a well done burger in 5 minutes. That's my biggest pet peeve. You order a burger, can I get it well done? I'm like, oh, it's already dead. But but they're and then
because that's a 10-minute process, right?
And I don't press on the burgers; I let it naturally cook. So because I want your Hucky Puck well done burger to at least have some kind of flavor to it. But it's the worst is when somebody comes up to you 3 to 5 minutes later and they're like, "Is my order ready?" I'm like, "You just order a well done burger. It's gonna take 15 minutes to be honest with you." And they just yell it. People think that food trucks can just magically appear food. You can if you buy everything from Sam's Club or whatever, pre-cooked stuff. All you gotta do is deep fry and you're done. Yeah, you can do it, but there's a lot of trucks out there that cook it from scratch. You have to see the culinary side of it. When you go into a restaurant, you're not going to get your food in 2-3 minutes unless you're not going to get it from anywhere.
Right.
Even if you're at a fast food, it's going to be 5-6 minutes, and it's wrapped and rehydrated or whatever they do. But it's different. You're going to get an experience where you're not going to get from a restaurant. That's why I like food trucks.
I think I think you should put a list of rules on your truck.
I've done.
You have? Don't ask for well done.
Well, I've done that before to somebody. She's like, can I get it well done? I'm like, no, I'm not cooking it well done. It was like that one movie, No Reservations, or with he wanted, or the food critic or whatever he was, wanted like a rare steak, and every steak she would make for him was a little bit too well done. So she took a fork and the steak, and it was raw. And is that raw enough for her? And I mean, it's, people, especially chicken. I mean, chicken, you got to cook to 165, or else, you're going to get like a little chicken sashimi action. And that's gross.
Everything needs a gimmick, and so maybe you put your rules up there, and then you put a loudspeaker outside, and so when you start getting frustrated at people, you just have at them, and then it'll turn into a thing like, oh my god, it was so great, Joey teed off on me.
Oh no,
I Facebook lived it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Joey's business just tanked. Hey, I got a food truck for sale. Anybody want to buy it? But
people love being treated like crap.
Well, no, they don't. I mean, I think one of my friends who has a food truck in town, she has like a RBF. Add $1, resting bitch face, I guess. And she adds on $1 to people that give you like the snarl look, like, where's my food? And it's like, it's been like 30 seconds. I mean, come on.
So she'll add $1 to those people who are just,
and it's more like a gimmick than anything. But I mean, she has rule. I mean, I've seen a truck. I think I was in New York City, and they had like rules, like how to order, step aside, wait your turn. Or, I mean, I have a paging system in my truck. I mean, I call it high class, but I give you a number, you go off, do whatever you want to do. When I page you, it'll buzz and vibrate, and then your order's ready.
Oh, really?
And it's great. I mean, it's, I think, the best $270 I've ever spent in my life.
My wife and I just checked out a new place in downtown St. Pete. It's called the Maple Street Biscuit Company. And I guess it's originally started in Jacksonville. It's starting to franchise, except that they don't franchise like traditional franchises. They do not sell them. They give them away, but you have to be chosen by them, and then they'll give you a franchise.
You're the chosen one.
Yeah, so which is pretty cool. And another cool little gimmick that they have there is instead of order up, at a number, you give them your favorite band.
Oh, and they play the music to it.
Oh, that'd even be better.
That'd be cool.
No. So they'll just go Nirvana, order up, or Foo Fighters, Nat King Cole, and you coming up and get your food.
Dead Kennedys, you're up. Yes.
All right. So one of the reasons I wanted to bring up, or I wanted to ask your age when you made the leap and decided to spend your own money and go into business for yourself. It's to inspire those people. It's never too late.
It's never too late. I mean, don't be scared. I mean,
it's going to be hard as shit.
It's hard. I mean, from all your regulations, your licenses, and everything else. I mean, food inspectors, they're tough to deal with. But remember, when they come on your truck, treat them with respect, and they'll be nice to you. Especially be nice to everybody, but
don't give the inspectors resting bitch face.
No, because they'll give you a hard time. They'll start nitpicking on you. But I mean, it's a hard industry. But I've talked to several people in past 2.5 years, and they want to do a truck, and they're like, "Can you help me?" And I'm like, "I'll help you, but I have to charge you." But because it's time,
right?
But I mean, if you think you can't do it, you can do it. You just have to set your mind to it and just go for it. I mean, because you're going to have the what ifs. You're going to sit there one day at your dead end job. You're going, what
at the end of your life, yeah. Or, you're going to be 60, 70, 80 years old.
I mean, food trucks are booming right now. I mean, the food truck industry is it's on fire. I mean, there's so many trucks in Tampa, St. Pete, even Sarasota, where I represent down there. I mean, trucks are popping up everywhere. And thank God I've been in business for 2.5 years. Everybody knows who you are, so they know they're going to get good quality food. I couldn't imagine starting a food truck right now with all the competitions out there.
Well, even when I'm talking about starting your own thing, I don't mean even necessarily your own food truck. There's plenty of people that you've had something in your head, that a passion or something like I know I could just make it if I, go ahead and get your dip your toe in the water. There's no dipping your toe in the water. You got to jump in.
And
you got to jump in.
Well, if you do something great, stick to that item. Don't try to reinvent the wheel unless you have like loads of experience like me. I mean, and there's a lot of chefs out there that are super talented and they just want to work for somebody. Hey man, that's cool. But if you can do almost every genre of music or of food, ethnicity and everything, go for it. Open a truck and see where it goes. I mean, there's a truck down in Sarasota called Peachy's Bakery. Dude, they serve freaking a $5 glazed donut and a pretzel, and they kill it. They go to Bonnaroo.
A $5 donut?
Let me tell you, this donut will change your life. You eat one and you're like, I'm diabetic now.
Really?
But it's so good. I mean,
a $5 glazed donut.
Yeah, it's like $35 a dozen.
Holy smokes. I guess those are
nuts.
Special occasion donuts.
Yeah, but we have a lot of good food trucks down in like, I'm going to plug a couple guys. Down in Sarasota, I've got, there's Mouthhole Barbecue, there's Bulgogi Sarasota. We have Solid Slab. We have a bunch of food trucks down there that are just banging. I mean, we have a coffee guy, Out and About Coffee, Justin Bannister. If I don't have his coffee at least twice, 3 times a week, I'm grumpy. His coffee is that good. So, but it's fun. I mean, it's, don't be an outsider. Get involved with like a bunch of other food trucks. Talk to them. Find out their ups and downs. And just get out there and just hustle. Work. Book your own events. Go to Masteries.
That's right.
Matt Dom's a great guy. He's a good
Thursday night.
He's a great advocate for food trucks. I mean, he's.
And this Thursday, we're going to celebrate because it'll be May 3rd, but on Friday will be May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. So on a Thursday night, when we're out at Masteries, every 4th question will be a Star Wars question.
And I wish I was there because I'm not. I'm at Motorworks Brewery in
Son of a
Bradenton.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry. I think next Thursday, I'll be at Masteries.
Yeah, people like you, Joey, are inspiring me to keep moving forward in this as an entrepreneur and try to make things happen for myself. And this guy too is an inspiration in today's paper, WFLA.com. 81-year-old student to graduate from USF. The 81-year-old will be the oldest person to walk across the stage when he graduates from USF this week, earning his Ph.D. in philosophy. After practicing environmental law for 30 years, he returned to college in 2003 with a new outlook on life, so on and so forth. 81 years old. I dropped out of community college with 5 credits to go, and I'm hoping that I'll be, hopefully it's not 81, but if it is 81, then great. Then I've lived a great life.
This is my idea on college. I mean, if you're going to be like a doctor or like a surgeon,
specialized something
that's like you need school. I mean, philosophy. I mean, you could walk the earth and become a philosopher, I guess. But I mean, like, I don't know, some of these degrees. I mean, I think that's why these younger, I don't know what you call them, 20s and 30s, you're going to be poor until you're like our age.
Yeah, I look at all my
because I mean. College is so expensive right now; it's ridiculous. I mean, I remember when I went to school. I mean, I'm still paying on a school loan. I think I owe like $45,000 still on.
Jeez.
Hey, 2-year college. I think I paid $90,000 for 2 years.
Wow. Yeah,
it hurts. And I had GI Bill too. It still hurts.
My wife went to Stetson University, which is private, for her law degree. And I guess, it's not my place to share my wife's financials with the world.
It's expensive.
But yeah.
my best friend graduated from Miami Law School. And he lived with us when we lived in Fort Lauderdale. And it was just, he would tell me how much I think he took out like $100,000 in loans. And I'm like, and you can't work? I'm like, that. Unless you land like a big gig, I mean, I guess, but that's expensive.
And if you're a lawyer, there's a lot of different ways to, she's working for the judges right now. She's working for the state, and there's that loan forgiveness program. As long as that doesn't get blown up on the federal level.
I wish I had loan forgiveness. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, she works for the state for 10 years, or if she works for a charity for 10 years. And I don't mean just working for a charity, but as the lawyer of a charity, then she'll have loan forgiveness.
No, do they have that for like? Can I be their like food truck for like a year?
Look into it. We'll look into it. I don't know.
I'll serve you breakfast, lunch, dinner.
All right, and a reminder before we get out of here today that today is National Adopt a Pet Shelter Dog Day.
Yeah, cool.
A shelter pet day. There you go. And that's from the Wake.Pups if you'd like to follow along on Instagram. And also, this will be a good time to let you guys know about Pet Pal Animal Shelter in St. Pete. For those of you that are ever looking for animals looking to adopt, start with them. I know there's plenty of great organizations. That's just one that I've dealt with over the years, and I've got to know the people there. And they're amazing, and love their facilities. It's a no-kill shelter, and that is Pet Pal Animal Shelter in St. Pete. Well, Joey, thanks for stopping by and being my co-host today.
This was awesome.
All right.
Call me anytime. Mondays.
I'll see you. I'll see you the next time you're at Masters.
You got it.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the Wake.Show today. Have a great day. Don't forget to make sure. Well, let's see here. To make sure that you're good to yourself, that you're kind to your fellow man, that and most importantly, you let your crazy breathe. Oh yeah, and be the change. That's another one. Be the change of the world. You're always I know that saying.